We're going to begin with President Trump back in Washington after his second state visit to the UK. The trip promoted what was labeled as the unbreakable bond between the two nations, and they did reach what both sides are hailing as a groundbreaking billion-dollar tech investment deal. But at a press conference with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the relationship did show some signs of strain. The leaders diverged on some of the most critical issues, from dealing with Russian President Putin to the war in Gaza.
Mr. President, the UK is expected to recognise a Palestinian state in the coming days. And why is the UK's position on a Palestinian state, in your view, wrong?
I want the hostages released now, right now. So I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score.
Upon his return, despite an interest rate cut, President Trump is still pushing forward with his mission to reshape the Federal Reserve. Yesterday, the administration asked the Supreme Court to allow Mr. Trump to immediately fire Fed board member Lisa Cook. For more on all this, let's bring in NBC News White House correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, first of all, tell us more about what was accomplished during this trip overseas and where there was disagreement between President Trump and Prime Minister Starmer. Just how far apart are they?
Right. Actually, as part of the meeting between both of these men, they were joined also by leaders of Rolls-Royce, Boeing, NVIDIA, and Microsoft to announce this prosperity agreement in tech investments between the two nations. And so this is a long-standing diplomatic relationship, and that is where you heard, actually, during this press conference, the British Prime Minister and President Trump not get too in the weeds when it came to the domestic matters of both countries, which is longstanding policy. There are, of course, questions when President Trump is ultimately sitting down with other allied leaders. But in this moment there, outside of that moment there where you heard the president suggest that the anticipated announcement of a Palestinian state by the UK would be a disagreement point, he did not aggressively push back. Of course, the economic ties between these two allies is deeply important to this relationship.
No doubt there. All right, let's get back to the issue of the Federal Reserve. President Trump, he's now appealing to the Supreme Court after a lower appeals court blocked his firing of Fed Board Governor Lisa Cook. What argument is the administration now trying to make to the highest court in the land?
Right. There's a question here of whether the Supreme Court will ultimately intervene and support the president's effort to fire Lisa Cook. Now, the argument that they are making here is that they have cause to fire Cook. Now, earlier this year, the Supreme Court had suggested that the Federal Reserve members were effectively protected from being fired by the executive branch, by the president, unless the president was able to show, quote, cause. And now it has been alleged that Lisa Cook had claimed double primary residencies on two properties. And she has made the case that, number one, that she should have the opportunity to push back against those allegations and have due process to defend herself, and that these allegations have not been proven. And at the same time, there is also the claim that that should not be cause for her termination from the Federal Reserve, because the allegations against her do not have to do with her tenure and her actual role as a Federal Reserve governor here. So we could very well see this legal fight continue. The question here is whether the higher court will ultimately take up what was a lower court's ruling and determination that the president was in the wrong to terminate her.
We've also been waiting to see if the Trump administration and China can reach a deal to keep TikTok operating here in the U.S. So that brings us to today. President Trump set to talk with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. What are the expectations from the White House for that phone call? How quickly could we see a deal?
Yeah, this is big because they have been sort of dangling the idea that there was going to be a TikTok deal in order to save TikTok in the United States from being ultimately going dark. And just earlier this week, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, announced that they had come up with a, quote, framework of a deal to have TikTok be sold to American investors, and suggested that it would ultimately be finalized in this phone call between President Xi and President Trump. We do not have the specifics of what this deal looks like. Of course, folks will recall that back in 2024, bipartisan members of Congress passed legislation with the signature of then President Biden to ban TikTok in the United States. unless its parent company, ByteDance, based in Beijing, agreed to sell it to an American buyer and effectively agreed to have the algorithm be run here in the United States. And those details have not been made clear of whether that is a part of this agreement. The president has already signed 3 executive orders this year, extending the timeline in which they would be able to try to seek an American buyer before it was banned in the U.S. So that deadline, actually latest deadline, was this last Wednesday here. So we should expect something out of this phone call between President Xi and President Trump as it pertains to the future of TikTok.
Von Hilliard, a lot to cover this morning. Thank you so much. Another big headline, the indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's show by ABC, sparking a nationwide debate over whether free speech is under attack. Protesters gathered outside ABC studios in Los Angeles yesterday. They're upset over the network's decision to take Kimmel off the air for comments he made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz has the latest.
Protests outside Disney headquarters as fallout grows from the company's abrupt decision to indefinitely pull Jimmy Kimmel's late night show off the air. Condemnation swift from Democrats in Washington to Hollywood heavyweights.
You can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office. That's just not how this works.
But President Trump and many of his supporters praising the decision by ABC and its parent company Disney.
Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
The president later suggesting broadcast licenses could be taken away by the FCC. This all began Monday after Kimmel said this during his opening monologue.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
After criticism from conservatives, Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, threatened action against the network.
Disney needs to see some change here.
Hours later, Nexstar, which owns more than 200 local TV stations nationwide and is currently seeking FCC approval for a merger, announced it would stop airing Kimmel on all of its ABC affiliates. Soon after, ABC said it was suspending the show. Now, Sinclair, another major television group, saying they won't air Kimmel's show again unless he offers a direct apology to Kirk's family and donates to Turning Point USA.
The issue that arose here where lots and lots of people were upset was not a joke. It was not, making fun or pillaring me or the administration or the president. It was appearing to directly mislead the American public about a significant fact.
But Anna Gomez, the lone Democrat on the FCC panel, says the government is suppressing free speech.
This administration has weaponized the licensing power of the FCC in order to pressure broadcasters. They want only to have coverage in the way that they want to have it. And this is a clear violation of the First Amendment.
The move by ABC comes 2 months after CBS announced it's canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, another Trump critic, and amid multiple lawsuits President Trump has filed against news organizations. In a statement, former President Obama slamming the White House, writing, after years of complaining about cancel culture, the current administration has taken it to a new and dangerous level by routinely threatening regulatory action against media companies unless they muzzle or fire reporters and commentators it doesn't like.
Instead of crowds inside the theater, Kimmel supporters are now gathering outside here on Hollywood Boulevard, demanding that Disney put him back on the air, saying they plan to boycott the company until they do so.
Thank you, Liz. Now, some of Kimmel's fellow late-night hosts came out in support of him during their shows last night and used his suspension as an opportunity to mock the Trump administration. Take a look.
You may call it free speech in jolly old England, but in America we have a little something called the First Amendment. And let me tell you how it works. There's something called a talent-o-meter. It's a completely scientific instrument that is kept on the president's desk. And it tells the president when a performer's TQ, talent quotient, measured mostly by niceness to the president, goes below a certain level.
During the trip, protesters managed to project images onto the sides of Windsor Castle of Trump standing next to his good friend, Jeff Goldblum. Even though his administration still insists that he's not in the Goldblum file. which we all know is absolute bull.
True. All this swirling around, are the naysayers and the critics right? Is Donald Trump stifling free speech?
Of course not, John. Americans are free to express any opinion we want.
This decision came after senior executives at ABC, Disney, and affiliates convened emergency meetings during which multiple execs felt that Kimmel had not actually said anything over the line, but the threat of Trump administration retaliation loomed. As one source at ABC put it, they were pissing themselves all day. Oof. On the bright side, that proves Disney is #1 in streaming.
Amid the support, Kimmel himself is yet to comment on the suspension since he was taken off the air. Some major health news this morning. Today, the CDC's advisory committee is set to begin its second day of meetings. The rebuilt advisory panel is made up of all new members handpicked by Health Secretary RFK Jr. They met for the first time yesterday at CDC headquarters. Kennedy fired the previous panel in June over what he said were conflicts of interest. On day one, the committee voted to change its guidance for a measles vaccine. That includes protection against the chickenpox virus, suggesting it shouldn't be recommended for children under age 4 because of a small risk of seizures. Joining us now for more on this is NBC News medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar. Dr. Azar, good to have you with us again this morning. So panelists voted 8-3 in favor of this change to what's known as the MMRV vaccine. Doctors have known for years about this small risk of seizures for young children. Should parents be concerned here? How's this change going to impact how kids get the vaccine?
So, no, I think, Joe, the MMR discussion went about as well as we could have all hoped. This change really is well, it's certainly a change in a recommendation that will impact coverage. But what it basically involves is whether or not the combined MMRV, that is MMR plus varicella, that's the virus that causes chickenpox, should be made available to children under the age of 4 as a combined shot. As you mentioned, for years, pediatricians have known that there was a slight increased risk of this thing called febrile seizures, which is benign, self-limited, and the CDC for years has also recommended, Joe, that if possible, to give the MMR and the varicella as separate vaccines, which was basically what pediatricians had been doing all along. The only thing that's changed is that it is now no longer recommended for children under the age of 4, but as I said, it was routinely not given to children until the age of 4 anyway.
As we've been discussing, some health experts have expressed concern about the motives behind the decisions made yesterday, especially in light of this recent shakeup to the panel. Critics worry RFK Jr. stacked the panel with vaccine skeptics. What are the biggest concerns here, and could these changes impact the upcoming flu and virus season?
Well, I think so. And I think there were two competing sort of philosophies about the whole role of this new committee. On the one hand, you had individuals saying, look, there has been so much mistrust of the process. We want to review all of the recommendations and the science that led to these recommendations so that we can reestablish trust with the public. Whereas on the other side, completely, people are saying, look, these are recommendations that exist because of the strength of the process. And by shining more of a light, could we be fostering more distrust? I think we'll find out, right? I mean, I think parents will listen to these recommendations and have conversations with their pediatricians, and time will tell as to whether or not it's done damage or it has succeeded in what it has set out to do and create more trust in the process. I just couldn't tell you that at this point, Joe.
And there is more to come today. The panel's expected to vote on a recommendation to delay the first dose of the hepatitis B vaccine and then discuss this fall's updated COVID shots. What are you going to be watching for here?
So the conversation on COVID is going to be very meaty. As you know, their biggest concern, or I should say their motive, their point right now is to really limit access to pregnant women and to healthy children. That's going to be a major, major conversation today, and we'll see what the outcome is. I pretty much feel like it's preordained and it's going to be aligned with what the FDA has now approved those vaccines for. The hepatitis B conversation and vote is going to be very interesting today, Joe. You can hear sort of experts on both sides of the aisle on this, but I will tell you that I think most of us feel that this birth shot, this is when a child is born before they leave the hospital, to get the hepatitis B, that first in a series of 3 shots, really serves as a safety net to capture those children whose mothers may not know their hepatitis B status, who don't get appropriate prenatal care. What they're potentially voting on is whether or not to delay that by 1 month. Those are exactly the kids that they're hoping to capture in that birth shot. If you leave it for 1 month, a lot of people are going to be concerned that those kids won't be there for their follow-up shot. So this is really something that we're going to all be listening to very closely today to see what the outcome and the vote actually is.
All right, Dr. Azar, good to have you with us this morning. Thank you so much. On Capitol Hill yesterday, the Senate confirmed 48 of President Trump's nominees, all in one single vote. The Republican-controlled chamber voted to overturn existing rules with a simple majority to bypass that 60-vote threshold for confirming nominees in batches. This move has often been referred to as the nuclear option. Among those confirmed, former New York Congressman Brandon Williams as Undersecretary of Energy for Nuclear Security, former Fox News personality Kimberly Guilfoyle as ambassador to Greece, and Callista Gingrich, the wife of the former House Speaker, as ambassador to both Switzerland and Liechtenstein. We're learning new details about the suspect in that Pennsylvania shooting that left 3 police officers dead and 2 others wounded. Officials say the gunman was being sought on charges of stalking his ex-girlfriend and that he ambushed the officers with an AR-15 style rifle. NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin has the latest.
Authorities identified the suspect, 24-year-old Matthew James Ruth, as the man who opened fire, killing 3 police officers and critically injuring 2 before being shot dead. The officers killed have been named: Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Emenheiser.
Each of these men represented the very best of policing.
The district attorney says the ambush lasted 2 minutes. The officers had been searching for the suspect inside the Pennsylvania home of his ex-girlfriend and her family, who had already left the scene for their safety.
Detective Emenheiser discovered that the door was unlocked. Immediately opening the door, the actor repeatedly fired at the officers with multiple rounds from an AR-15 styled rifle. All 4 detectives went down.
The firefight continued outside, where police say Ruth shot a deputy sheriff.
An eyewitness says he saw police searching that barn. All of a sudden, he heard shots fired. You can see there the blood-soaked pavement. Fire officials have just arrived to clean it up.
Authorities say police had been searching for Ruth. According to court documents, Ruth's ex-girlfriend and her mom called police the night before, saying she saw Ruth in the driveway, armed with an AR-15 style rifle slung across his chest and dressed in camouflage, looking into her window with binoculars, adding she suspected him of setting her pickup truck on fire the month before. The horrific attack in a quiet farming community.
It's terrible, and what are you going to do? Never go out. You can't do that.
As the community struggles to make sense of yet another senseless act of gun violence.
The condition of one of the officers injured appears to be improving. According to the hospital, the officer is now in satisfactory condition. The other officer remains in critical but stable condition. Authorities are not releasing their names at this time. Back to you.
All right, Aaron, thank you so much. Some wet weather is expected across the Southwest today. Meteorologist Angie Lastman joins us with a closer look, plus the all-important weekend forecast. Angie, good morning.
Hi there, Joe. We've got to get to the weekend forecast, of course. Lots of outdoor plans, I'm sure, as we kind of get those last warm weather days in. But unfortunately, we've got some rain to talk about across the Southwest. This has been something we've been kind of in and out of over the past couple of days with the remnant moisture of Tropical Storm Mario, of course, which had weakened, but still brought plenty of rain and the flooding concerns to folks across California. Today, it's kind of speckled across parts of the Southwest. So we've still got the threat for Florida, or for California, rather, with that flood watch, but we've also got stretching from Arizona back into New Mexico, some heavy rain, and pockets of the flooding concern will remain. This is what we deal with through the day today. Still some of those heavy downpours, especially, again, near those burn scar areas. That's where you're going to want to take the closest look for flooding concerns. But notice the slight risk much smaller today, but we will watch it ramp up here as we get into the afternoon hours in the warmest part of the day. Meanwhile, across the middle of the country, we've got this slow-moving storm system. It brings some rain to parts of the plains today. There is a risk of thunderstorms, but the severe risk is low. So we're not going to worry too much about that. Meanwhile, it is quite warm. These temperatures are well above normal across most of the east. Check out Chicago today, 87 degrees. We're running 15 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. It's 90s for Richmond, upper 80s for Washington, D.C. And even as we get into tomorrow, your Saturday, it looks pretty warm across some of those same spots. We've got low 80s for Richmond, 90s for Lexington, and stretching down to the south, very summer-like temperatures in Baton Rouge with 94 as your high. Early next week, we kind of dial things back for the northern tier of this region. So it's the upper 70s for Detroit, both Monday and Tuesday. We kind of hang out in the 70s on Sunday in New York City, but still holding steady with that summer-like heat. Places like Birmingham, you are not going to get below 90 all the way through the early part of next week. So is it feeling like fall in any places? Not so much. We've still got the last kind of couple days of summer-like heat to deal with, Joe. In Minneapolis, though, if you're paying attention, I guess maybe you could put on a light sweater in the morning with a high of 75.
Oh, that's like shorts weather still
exactly,
in Minnesota.
Exactly.
So. All right, Angie, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.